So in this video, we're going to look at how to download R and RStudio and how to get started with them and how to customize them to your liking. So R is the programming language that is typically used for statistics and that we will be using all throughout this class. Pretty much all of the homework assignments that you'll do, any problem that you work on, we'll be using R. So it's very important to get familiar with the program. And we'll see lots of examples of how to do problems in R throughout the class. So the first thing you want to do is just head to this website. This is cran.r-project.org. So I'm specifically on the Windows part, but let's just go ahead and go to the home page here and we'll see what it looks like. So here you can see options for downloading for Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. So you go ahead and pick your operating system. You can see the base is what you want if you're going to install R for the first time. Even if you're just updating it, you could go ahead and do this, use this button as well. I already have R on my computer, but I'm going to use this to update it to the current version. So then you just go ahead and go to download R 4.5. That's the current version at the time of recording, but you can go ahead and download whatever the current version is for you. And then you'll see it download over here. And then when that's done, we'll click on that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open that file. I'm not sure if that came up on the recording, but it'll just ask you if you want to make if you want to allow it to make changes to your computer, click yes. And then go ahead and go through the setup wizard here. I'm just gonna go ahead and these are all fine. You can customize that to your liking if you'd like. And then we'll just wait for it to extract. And then it's finished here. So we'll go ahead and, it says that it's finished. Now we should be able to pull it up. So I'm gonna pull up R. You see I have old versions downloaded that I probably should get rid of, but so you just type in R 4.5, find that on your computer and pull it up. And then this is what it will look like. Just give it a second to load here. So it's basically just this blank console. There's really not a lot to the base R, which is why we're going to download RStudio, which is a little bit easier to work with. Some people like just working with the base R, so I'll just, show how this works just really quickly. You have a little bit of menus at the top here that can help you with things, but for the most part, you're just typing in commands. So some important things like packages, which we'll look at. You can load and save your workspace and save and load your history, things like that. But for the most part, you just have to kind of know the commands and type them in, and you'll just kind of learn them as you go. So just for example, if we want to set a variable, so like say we want to use the letter x as our variable and we want it to be equal to 4, we'll just type in x equals 4. And then if we type in x to see what it is, we'll see that x is 4. Okay, so just things like that. If we want x to be equal to a set of values, like some data values, like say 1, 2, 3, 4, we use this letter C here. We'll get into the syntax later. And we'll see, okay, now x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can take maybe the mean of x. And we get 2.5. Okay, so this is kind of just how the regular base R workspace is. You just have to kind of know the commands and type them in. And if you need help with anything, like if you don't know how to type, how to properly input something, then you can use the question mark and the command. So you still have to know the command to know to do this, but then it'll pull up a help window for you here to kind of show you what the syntax is. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at RStudio now. So this is the website here for RStudio. Um, you don't need to look at the server if you want to get into all that. That's fine. We're just going to use the regular RStudio here. So you see, you already need to have R installed. It's not going to install R for you. This is just kind of a different user interface for R. So I'm gonna download the one for Windows. But you can see if you scroll down here, you can find different operating systems if you need them, like Mac OS, for example, or one of the different Linux systems. So I'm going to go ahead and open this file. It's going to ask me to make changes. I'm going to say, yes, that's fine. Go through the wizard again. And again, I already have these installed, but this is how you update the R&R Studio anyway, is just by installing them again. So I'm just going to go ahead and download these anyway, because that'll get it up to date on my computer. They update all the time, so you don't have to download every single update, but if something's not working properly, that should be one of the first things you try, is going and downloading it all again, or updating everything again. We'll just go ahead and wait for that to finish up here. Okay, so now that it's finished, let's see, I still have R open, so I'm going to close that. And we're going to open up RStudio. Wait for that to open. I'll go ahead and full screen it here. So this is some old data I was working with. I'm going to clear all of this out. Okay, so this is how you just kind of get rid of things. Just X out of everything. So first, let's just kind of talk about the different, it's how RStudio is set up. So it's divided into 4 quadrants here. Sorry, I resized it there so you can see better. So it's divided into 4 quadrants here. I have dark mode on. I'll show how to change that. Yours will probably have a white background to start. So in the top left, this is where you kind of have your R files. We're going to use R Markdown files, so that'll be in the top left here. Or if you're just using an R script file, which is what this is, there's nothing open in it, but this is just kind of where you type your code before putting it into the console, which is the bottom left part. So the bottom left is kind of identical to the standalone R that I already showed. You can see, like, if you just type things in, they'll just go ahead and work exactly the same way as we just saw over there. All right, so here's everything we did. What you might have noticed is in the top right, the X values were changing, right? So if I just ran the X equals 4, you can see X is being defined as 4 up here. So what's happening up here is that it's keeping track of your variables. If you want to, it's showing what's being stored as a variable, so you can go ahead and use the broom to clear those out. And then now when I type in X, it'll say error, there is no X, because we just deleted that variable. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can save it session to session. If you save your what you were working on, your workspace, it'll still be there when you come back to it. So now I can set X equal to 5, and you see that it changes to 5. Or if we set it to the data values, you'll see that it populates it as the different data values up there as well. Okay, so lots of different things we can do over here. This will keep track of your values. That's its primary purpose. You see there's a bunch of different things on here. Like, you can look at your history. Like, you can see some history of things I was doing before. These other ones I don't really ever use, but maybe you'll find a use for them. Up here, this is where you can kind of just type things out without actually running them. So, here I put that X is equal to 4, and I put that the mean is equal to X, but you see it didn't actually run the code, because over here our X value didn't change. X is still equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So nothing's actually run over here until I highlight it and press run, and then it'll run it down here. Okay, and now you see the X value changed. So essentially, this is on the top left is where you can write the code without actually executing it. It just kind of makes it easier to keep track of it, change it before you actually want to execute it. Bottom left is where it actually is run. You can type directly into it, but usually you're going to type into the top left box and then run it. You can also just press, I think it's control plus enter to just run it automatically. So if we do like the standard deviation of X, for example, if I just press enter, it's just not going to do anything. If I press control plus enter, it will run that. Of course, there's only one value here, so that's going to give us a not applicable NA. Okay, and then the last quadrant, which we haven't talked about on the right here, this is the help window. So you saw on the R, base R, when I did question mark mean, it pulled up a new website. It actually opened up Chrome because that's my default browser, and it showed it online, the help file. If we do it here, it's gonna just pull it up in the bottom right quadrant instead. So much more useful. Doesn't like need to open a whole new website. I mean, it's still doing that. It's just doing it over here for you. So you can see with the mean, all you need is some X value. And that's, basically all that's telling us there. If we want to do something like t-test, it'll tell us for the t-test, here's everything that we need. We need the X value. And then with the equal signs, it'll tell you what the defaults are. So it's telling us that by default, the mu value is 0. By default, paired is false, meaning that it's not going to do a paired t-test by default. It's going to just do the regular old t-test. The confidence level is going to be 0.95 by default. And these are all things that you can change as you want to. And then it has a list of all the different things that you can change. So very helpful command here, doing question mark and then the command that you want. You still need to know the command, but most of them are going to be pretty self-explanatory. And it'll also like kind of fill it in for you already. Like if you want to do the Wilcoxon test, for example, and you don't really know what the command is for it, you can see you just kind of start to type it and it gives you some recommendations. And we're going to need wilcox.test is going to be the one that we want, and then we can go ahead and see everything that we need by using the help window here. Okay, this is also where plots will come up. You can look at packages here, all these different things. Okay, so I think the last thing we'll look at real quick is the options. You can also install packages here. You can also just do it just by typing like install dot packages and then typing in the package. But either way, packages are just kind of like add-ons, and we're going to use a few different packages, so you'll definitely want to know how to do that. So we'll go to the global options here. This will just show you how to customize everything to your liking. You can see I'm actually, I just downloaded R 4.5, but you can see I'm actually using R 4.4.3. So I should update that to 4.5. I don't know exactly where it is, so I'll do it after the video, but you just go here and then it'll bring you through all your computer's menus and you can find the most up-to-date R version. So it's not going to automatically update the R version in here. You need to point it to that R version, yourself. Everything else, I think that the main thing that you'll probably want to look at right now before you really, are looking at how to do everything is you can just look at kind of the appearance and just customize that to your liking. So if we go ahead, here we go. Here's what the default is. Okay. So this is what the default is. So, you can change that to whatever you want. I like to use a dark mode because you're typically looking at it for a long time, so it's easier on the eyes. But Yeah, I mean, otherwise, there's not really much take into account here. You can just see different ones. They'll color different types of inputs differently. Like you can see like function and if and return and the arrows. These are all um, they all get different colors, and that'll kind of make it a little bit easier to um, distinguish what the different um, things we're looking at are, like if something's a variable or if it's a function or that kind of thing that we'll get into later. So just go ahead and pick whichever one you want there, um, and then go ahead and click apply. And I think that should be probably all that's of use to you right now. You can change the pane layout to the 4 different quadrants if you want to move them around. That's fine. So yeah, I think that's everything. So if you're having trouble getting R in RStudio set up, please reach out to one of us, um, and we'll help you with that. It's very important to get these set up correctly initially because we're going to be using them all throughout the class.